Want to discover a dream? Picture crystal clear water, towering mountains, and mountain goats posing like they're paid models. But before you hike Hidden Lake Overlook Trail in Glacier National Park, there are a few things you need to know. Come on a hike with us to discover answers to the 12 most asked questions about the Hidden Lake Overlook Trail you need to know for your first trip. Let's get started. Here's the first question you need to ask. Is Hidden Lake Overlook Trail in Glacier National Park worth it? The payoff at the Overlook is one of the most iconic views in all of Glacier National Park. Hidden Lake sparkles below Bearhat Mountain, and with a clear sky, it's an unbeatable panorama of wild country. Did you know on the other side of Bearhat Mountain is Avalanche Lake Trail? Anyway, here you're standing on the Continental Divide, surrounded by cliffs, peaks, and sky. Add in a passing mountain goat or swirling clouds, and you've got postcard perfection. But for some visitors, it's a letdown if the view is socked in by fog or hidden under snow. But for us and our hike, as you'll see later, the lake was framed in its full glory on a sunny day. The view is worth the hike, so coming up later, we'll talk about how that snow changes the entire hike, even weeks after summer has begun. But first, let's head to question 2, and how long is the Hidden Lake Overlook Trail in Glacier National Park? Here's the catch. This hike starts at Logan Pass, which sits at over 6,600 feet in elevation. That thinner air can leave even recreational hikers short of breath, especially during the 460 feet of steady uphill gain. What feels like a quick walk on flat ground at home becomes a legit climb at altitude. The hike from Logan's Pass to Hidden Lake Overlook is 2.7 miles total out and back. We noticed that the trail just seemed to continue. We would hike to one rise in the mountain only to find another rise right behind it. This continues until you finally head through some pine trees and get your first view of the lake, which we'll show later. We'll discuss what wildlife you might see in a minute, but depending on when you go, parts of the trail might be hidden beneath snow or ice. So, is the Hidden Lake Overlook Trail in Glacier National Park easy? In August, when the snow has melted and the skies are clear, it's a moderately easy hike for most people. There's a mix of boardwalk, dirt path, and rocky sections, and the incline is steady but manageable. You'll stay motivated by the panoramic views and chance to see wildlife and melting snow. But in June, or even early July, you could be hiking on snowpack, slipping along icy ridges, or sinking into soft slush. Some years, you're walking over the boardwalk instead of on it. Without traction gear or proper footwear, that easy hike quickly becomes sketchy. But if it's raining, the hike may be more treacherous. It depends entirely on when you hike it. Speaking of gear, what gear should I take to hike Hidden Lake Overlook Trail in Glacier National Park? To hike Hidden Lake Overlook safely and comfortably, bring sturdy hiking shoes, water, sun protection, including hat, sunglasses, and sunscreen, and dress in layers for the weather conditions of the day. A small backpack is helpful for carrying layers and essentials, but isn't required unless you are hiking further past the overlook. If you're hiking in June or early July, be prepared for snow. This year, there was a winter storm warning on June 21st. Consider microspikes and trekking poles, which can make a big difference. Bear spray is essential year-round, as grizzlies are often active in the area. Also consider packing a small first aid kit, camera, or phone for photos. A map and compass are not needed because the trail is simple, and on clear days you can see the Logan's Pass parking lot for most of the hike. With the right gear, this short alpine hike becomes a much safer and more enjoyable experience. For examples of what we use to day hike Glacier National Park, read our video description now while you watch. Every good hiking video needs a dad joke. Why do bears not like bear spray? They can't handle the spicy foods. Okay, we can't wait to show you what's next, but since we're talking about bears, will you see wildlife on the Hidden Lake Overlook Trail in Glacier National Park? If you love wildlife, this trail delivers. Mountain goats are almost a guarantee, especially around the overlook and ridgelines. They're often so close, chances are you'll be startled by them while they keep watch over you. You might also spot bighorn sheep, marmots sunning on rocks, and other rodents. But the real wild card is the grizzly bear. Hidden Lake Basin is prime feeding ground, especially later in summer when fish spawn near the lake. It's not unusual for the trail past the overlook to close multiple times a week due to bear activity, like it did on the day we visited. But we also learned that bear will cross the Overlook Trail above Logan's Pass. One of the people we met in the park later in the week showed us a video of a bighorn sheep chasing a bear across the boardwalk trail through amazed hikers. Which brings up an important timing issue. When is this trail actually hikeable, and when is it hiding some serious surprises? This leads to, when is the best time to hike Hidden Lake Overlook Trail in Glacier National Park? Most recreational hikers will want to visit when the snow has melted, the wildflowers are blooming, and the trail is reliably clear. Earlier in the season, you're dealing with snowfields and questionable footing, but later into fall, you risk early storms, cold wind, and trail closures due to bears. Mid-July through early September is the golden window. That is when the snow has finally melted, at least most years. But even during the best weeks, this is one of the most popular hikes in the park, meaning crowds, lots of them. Hike it at sunrise or early evening for a quieter trail and dramatic light over Bearhat Mountain. But there's a surprise thing that can keep you from hiking that we'll share at the end of the video, and it's something that catches travelers by surprise year after year. But if you have a brood like we do, you may be wondering, is the Hidden Lake Overlook Trail in Glacier National Park kid-friendly? The wildlife, wooden boardwalks, and big alpine views keep younger hikers engaged. The big advantage on this hike is that there are no cliffs or steep slopes to fall over. But you need to know your child's limits. The elevation can hit hard, snow can be slick, and once you're on the trail, there's no shortcut back. Some parents bring trekking poles or child carriers for younger kids, but always keep kids close so they don't wander ahead or behind on steep sections. But more importantly, wildlife can get a little too close for comfort, and you are better in a tight group. This trail is generally great for families, and many kids hike this trail and love it. We'll continue with more views and some planning questions in a minute, but are you liking this walk and talk format? We share all of our national park experiences in this way to help you plan your first trip. Subscribe today so that when you search your next adventure we've done, our videos show up at the top of your search results. Okay, what if you can't even access the road to Logan Pass? Do you need a permit or reservation to hike the Hidden Lake Overlook Trail in Glacier National Park? From late May to early September, you need a vehicle reservation to drive going to the Sun Road during the day. That includes access to Logan Pass and this trail. These permits often sell out weeks in advance, but if you enter before the controlled time or if you have a paid tour or shuttle reservation, you can still get in. There's also a last-minute batch released the day before. But this trail is also a good quick hike to get in before sunset. If you don't have anything to do late one afternoon, you can drive Logan's Pass without a permit after the designated time and check this hike off your list. Once you've made it up Logan's Pass, the next thing you'll want to know is what's actually available at the trailhead and what you'd better bring yourself. Are there bathrooms or any facilities at the Hidden Lake Overlook Trail in Glacier National Park? Even if you don't hike to Hidden Lake Overlook, the Logan's Pass Visitors Center has restrooms, a small store, and a water refill station. It's also where you'll find rangers posting up-to-date trail info, weather warnings, and wildlife alerts. But once you leave the parking lot, you're on your own. No bathrooms, no shelters, no trash cans. Trail is entirely exposed with no shade and zero protection from sudden weather. But what is the parking lot like at Logan's Pass? The parking lot has about 250 parking spaces for passenger vehicles and larger spots for shuttles and tours. But parking at Logan Pass fills up extremely early, often by 7 a.m. on summer mornings. So if you want a spot in the main lot, plan to arrive early to beat the crowds. Once it's full, finding a space becomes a game of chance if you are even allowed in the lot. Often rangers will set up barricades and not allow visitors to even look for a parking spot. Even here, in this picture from Google Maps, you will see vehicles circling the lot for a spot. Many visitors are left to park at lower altitude shuttle stops like Apgar or St. Mary Visitors Center and ride the free park shuttle up to Logan Pass instead. But you might wonder, is the Hidden Lake Overlook Trail in Glacier National Park open right now? Maybe not. You'd think once the Going to the Sun Road opens, the trail would too, but that's not always the case. Logan's Pass often opens in late June, but snow can linger on the trail into July, making it unsafe or impassable. So snow could keep the trail closed into early summer. But even if the snow is gone, wildlife closures, mainly due to bears, can happen at a moment's notice. The park posts updates online, but most visitors don't check. They drive all the way up expecting to hike, only to find a big trail closed sign. We'll put a link in our video description with MPS alerts you'll want to know about. Many people wonder, can you hike all the way to Hidden Lake on the Hidden Lake Overlook Trail in Glacier National Park? From the overlook, a steeper, rougher trail continues another 1.2 miles down to the lake. It's a tough descent with a brutal return climb, and it often closes for wildlife safety. When open, it's spectacular. You get shoreline views, the chance to see fish spawning, and near total solitude. So yes, you can hike to Hidden Lake, but if you're not conditioned for the steep return, or if you don't have bear spray, it's better to enjoy the lake from above. But to continue planning your first trip to Glacier National Park, watch this video next.